Okay, what's going on, guys? It's your boy mixing back once again, and we're crafting more beats today. Today I'm gonna just kind of go in and like talk about how to like construct trap melodies, like dark trap melodies. This is based off of my NBA Youngboy Type Beat from this week. It's really more of like a young bands crosses over with NBA Youngboy, so a little bit of a throwback kind of style of beat. Um, I mainly like said that it's a NBA Youngboy type of beat because the drums to me just like that's what that screams to me. These drums hit like really hard and it gives it like kind of like that like oh this is bumping kind of vibe. But with the melodies, it's definitely way more of a young band's kind of vibe because it's a little bit trippier and definitely like it's a cool track. So let me introduce it to you. Let me introduce you to this beat. Let's play this thing out real quick. Yeah, so that's basically what the beat sounds like. So starting off with that, let's get into this thing. What I started off with first is like a really airy pad. This one comes to us from a Nexus preset. It's just 101 dark pad. It's one of the first pad presets that come up when you search for it. I'm still using Nexus 2. I'm kind of an old head, I guess, when it comes to that. I just love the like old sound and stuff that it has in it. I know they've done several upgrades, but this is what I got. But this is what this one sounds like. So what I was doing, I'm in the key of C minor. So I just kept like a one chord and then did like a just like a step up. So it went up to the D F A. So it went to the two chord. So from one, oh, like that. Just basically going one step up and then one step down to BDF. And then back down and up again as we go through to the fifth. In the fifth bar, we switch down to the A flat chord that we have, so ACE. Go down to the GBD, back up to the ACE, and then go up to BDF, back down to ACE. There we go. There it is. And so I did that kind of pattern. So like this one goes up, down, and down, up. This one goes from like it goes down, back up to up, then down. So it kind of flips how it is for the way that I'm like dragging the notes together. And I did it in this way to give it like a specific kind of bounce. So just like kind of creating that cloud vibe with it. And now if you can like tell me what you guys think I did next, what do you guys think? You guessed it. I just did an arpeggio of those chords. So I'm just arpeggiating those, but I did it down here. So it just like gets those last two notes. So like and so we're still staying with those Nexus vibes for this one. It's just a the drought piano. And I just turned off the phaser that was on it because it was just a little bit too much effects for me, sounding a little bit too drowned out from like what it normally would be. Um, and then we get this like very punchy lead at the top of it. Um, so what this lead sounds like is this. So kind of just like put all the melodies together, right? We'll do this. So really creating like more of that like dark trap kind of like aesthetic. You know, I could have gone like, oh, this is like kind of like a rage style beat, but for me, this really felt closer to like a young band's kind of like vibe with the melodies. But then when we get into the drums, like I've got like down here, I'll just play all the drums together. So actually, just do this, and do these three, mute the tags. To me, that just screams like NBA Youngboy, like with the way the drums are. It gives you a lot of room to like have like an attack kind of on it. So like they're like very high pace. So first, what I did, nothing fancy, just I just like right clicked or each two steps with this, and then hit Control L on that to make them legato. So still the same stuff if I undo the fill. Then we go into the kick. So the kick itself is not like super fancy. I don't think I even like cranked these up with the velocity. Just played them in. Let's get too high. Right, so with the clap and the hi-hat. And with the clap, nothing fancy, just every other beat. So like on, the whites, or the grays, whatever you want to call them. So we started off with a basic pattern like that, and then like the thing that I think I like most about the kick is how I like layered like this last little part. So like bar. So like gets like the builds the like oomph up, like it's hitting the hammer down like 3 times before you get in, to the next phrase. So I think that just like kicks up the energy quite a bit. Then you add a little rim shot here with the snare to go on the other side of that. So I keep that same pattern. So like basically the way you get that is the red to white transfer right after a kick. So like if I'm going like this, like so it's going. Basically that's like the concept of the pattern. Is just repeating that over and over again. You'll see this done like in a lot of like hip hop tracks, especially like trap melodies from or trap drum sets from like this era, like the 2020s. Like you'll see that pattern very very commonly. Then I've got like an open hat to go with it. And then I added at the end of each one of these phrases a little snare roll. So just based on like where the notes were for the 808s, which I'll play in now. So these ones are up high on the C, and then we go down to the G. And see how we're like going from C to C, just to make it sound like darker. And that just kind of gives it like a little bit more of a transition period throughout the whole thing. Now the biggest saucy part, the secret sauce that you want to take away from this is like, let's get some like really fancy hi-hat rolls in here. Because like in trap beats today, you got like that's like the biggest thing that stands out. Because like you have your standard drum pattern, it sounds really good, but now like what's gonna set that thing apart, right? So getting like creative with it, you know. Well, so like the way that I did this, it's like I've got like obviously the roll down, but I like decreased the velocity as it got back down to earth. That kind of just gives it a nice transition feel to it. And then putting a roll on like on the down beats, like where like the clap would hit or like one of the snares would hit. I just think that that like kind of like adds emphasis to it. So like I think just adding those little like flares like help a lot. Um, so I'd say the core concepts of like making like a trap melody and a trap drum is just like a basic chord progression that doesn't have a lot of movement. Like you can see, we're never like moving more than a half step, like or a whole step between the chords. It's just like always like slow movement, like with the progression. Then we're arpeggiating that, and then we're maintaining within those notes when we're making our lead. So it's really just three instruments that we've like kind of layered with like what our bass chords were, and we're making our bass like 808 match the bass notes for the most part, and adding little accents here and there. Um, then we're also just making the drums hit, like putting little accents with the hi-hats and like the snare rolls at the end of the phrase, and then also the snares in the middle just to keep up the groove. So like really like the core concept of like making trap drums and melodies is just like keeping it simple and then making like little saucy points in there. Just like spilling your own little secret sauce, you know? It's the secret formula, you know? But let's play the beat out one more time. Now, so when we were styling up our verse, here's what we're gonna do. We just drop all of our stuff out like that. Just gonna keep the arpeggio going. Make it like nice and quiet like that. Bring back the bass like that. Bring back our open hats. Get it pumping. Let the energy build. Boom, 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 boom. Bring back our pad. With our hi-hats obviously rolling crazy. Now drop everything out with the lead. Yeah. And so like you see, you're making good movement happen with this beat just by adding and taking things out. And now let's pump the brakes on that. Like that. So like you're giving your artist space, but then you're just like hyping them up back into the hook. So it just goes 8-bar intro, 16-bar hook, 24-bar verse, 16-bar hook, and an 8-bar outro with a little bit of a tail, just to keep it like the long 2 minutes. And then like with the outro, I just wanted to keep the bass pumping with the 808 or with the arpeggio, and I just thought that sounded really nice. Just going back to like some of the sound mixing stuff. So we'll go step by step here. So first things first, you have your channel rack, right? One thing you can do is you can double click on the first one. It will select all of these channels. You can right click on your first channel, and then you go to channel routing, route channel starting from this track, or shift command L or shift control L, whether you're on Mac or PC. And it'll automatically write all of these with the color scheme intact to your mixer track. So that's just like a quality of life thing that I always like to talk about. Next, I try to like make my melodies not reach over like the 18 dB mark. So if we're gonna zoom back in here, I don't like them to reach the 18 dB mark, generally speaking. I like to have my hi-hats rest like at the 18 mark as well. But this one I wanted it to pump a little louder because like these were playing off of each other. and I wanted these to like really be like the main focus because I think that's the part that was like the most interesting piece of this. Now, in this one, we did a little bit something with the kick. We always like to keep it at like -6, right around there. Let it pump. Put some soft clipper on it just to make it like cut through the mix. Then we got our clap that I like to hit at -9. Just a little basic EQ. All of these just like have like I drag the EQ to the point where it's like, hey, this is like where the audio is getting cut off at. Let's just stop it right there and then move forward. Um, and then boost some of the sounds we like. I wanted to push this a little bit into the left part of my ear because I felt like that one was pretty fire, like fire positioning. Mostly it's like listening to like what you think sounds good when you're mixing stuff. Like after like there's obviously techniques and like things that'll help you out, but a lot of drums are already pre-mixed, and if you can like get that to like just sound like how it sounds good in your ear, then that's good. But for a rule of thumb, like a good starting point is like getting your hi-hats and melodies to be -18 and below. A lot of times you want your melodies to be at 21, 24, 27, just so that they're like quieter in the mix. Your clap at -9, your rim shots and your snares that are backups at like -12, right around there. And like you want to keep your open hats around 24, -27 as well, because they're usually a little bit louder. My 808s, sometimes I like at -6, sometimes I like at -9. For this one, it's pretty aggressive 808, so I kept it at -9 so it wouldn't be overbearing. And then like our obviously our other snare that are like our backing snares for that, and then our roll snare that I kept down at -12, and then we have a crash, -24 or -21. So like with all of these, just kind of like keeping those are just general rule of thumb numbers. Mixing is like probably the last thing I think about when I'm like doing a track. It's like, okay, I can EQ these to sound a little bit better, but really it's like about sound selection. So like make sure you can get sample hacks. Uh, but like yeah, really like the main things you want to keep in mind, like I said, just to kind of like do a review. Just simple melody. You want to like keep your chords in a minor key, high BPM, like 140s, and then just go like half step down, or like, you know, C to B, and so on and so forth. You can see like how it just goes da 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 back to C. It's one of those things that I'm just like you're keeping all of these. They're never moving all that much. They're just like within the scale because it's like mounted to it. See how it's just like I'm dragging it down one by one. So one down from this is this. And that's like how it is throughout the whole scale. It just makes it like really easy. If you snap to scale, you can just click on the music note here to snap to scale, and you can set it by hitting right click and then minor, natural, Aeolian for whatever scale you're in. That's a little, I guess, fun trick with that. But like keeping your melody simple, putting a lead in just to like really accentuate that. And you can just like create like a quick ARP just by like copying your chords over. So like if I was to do this again, Control Alt, Control C. Let's just go to like a new channel entirely. Paste. Copy. Just say it's 21 for now. Paste. And then from here, Control Alt. And then you just go strum, or so just above strum, Alt A. And then you can just do the time multitude. So with this now, so to put an example, and then I dragged it down one. So it's just that easy just to make melodies and for like trap melodies, just keeping them simple. It's really the easiest way to do it. But that's pretty much what I got for you guys today. Make those drums knock. If you got any questions, drop them below and I'll be sure to answer them. Make sure you guys are leaving a like, commenting, hitting that subscribe button, hitting that noti bell, so I can get you guys all up on my channel. Love you guys. Peace. God bless.